Hi, welcome to another Wednesday's Word. This week, if you've been following the Daily Audio Bible the way I have, you've been in Romans 9 through 11, along with some other parts of Second Chronicles and such. And Romans 9 through 11 is one of those that always, honestly, gets a little bit intimidating. Sophomore year in college, I was assigned that section because I was one of the few people in my class that believed in predestination. So the professor who did not like that doctrine gave me that passage and made me dive in. It was one of my first times really digging into any Bible passage, doing the Greek, learning what they call exegesis, drawing the meaning from the text. And it was hard, it was confusing. I honestly got my conclusion wrong. And so ever since then, I come to this passage and my hackles rise, I guess. I just get intimidated. Same way as if you've had a bad experience with seafood, you might pause before going to Red Lobster or that sort of thing. So what I want to talk about is not trying to unravel Romans 9 through 11, although now I do have it perfectly figured out, mostly, I think, who knows. But also just to give you some liberty when you come to passages that might feel confusing to you. There's a lot of parts of the Bible that are easy. Jesus says you must be born again. Jesus says, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. God says that he created us and he wants us to be a blessing to bless others. Lots of that thing is clear. You don't need to study. You don't need a commentary, although those things can help. But there's other parts that honestly can be a little bit intimidating. Romans 7, which we haven't talked much about, talks about how Paul is saying, woe, wretched man that I am. I do the things I want to do, but the things I do, I don't do. And there are lots of debates. People who I greatly respect disagree whether they're talking about a Christian struggling with sin or it's a non-Christian struggling with sin. Is Paul talking about himself before conversion or after conversion? And it can get intimidating to plow into all that research and to see all these respected and trustworthy men and women disagreeing on it. And I just want to say that that's okay. Our job is not to figure out the Bible. And honestly, we're never going to figure out God. Shoot, we can't even figure out our own human anatomy. We have no idea how the eyeball evolved or how it was created or how it works. We have no idea about lots of things within our own world. We haven't explored the bottom of the ocean. How are we supposed to explore the boundless treasures of God? There's times when you can sit back and just pause and say, God, this is a mystery. And then maybe dig in, maybe ask for some advice, maybe get coffee with a friend or with me or with another pastor, maybe buy a commentary. If you're a part of Cascade Church, you get free access to a software called Logos, where you've got some commentaries and Greek and Hebrew resources. So maybe you do want to do some research. But first pause and maybe be thankful. Be thankful that we don't have a God that's so easy to understand. A lot of people have a diminished view of God. God ends up being exactly like themselves. Shockingly, they've got a God who agrees with everything they agree with, disagrees with everything they disagree with, loves what they love, hates what they hate, affirms what they affirm. And that God is no mystery. The God of the Bible is challenging. The God of the Bible is complex. In my lifetime, I'll never figure out even my own wife, even my own children. In my lifetime, I'll never figure out God. And so there's a point where you come to a Romans 9 through 11, and there's parts that the more I read it, the more it gets clear. I was joking before when I said I have it perfectly figured out. The main gist of it is that we're not saved because we're of certain genetic lineage like Israel. We're not saved because we follow a set of laws. We're saved by faith. We're saved by the gift of faith that God gives us. God loves us. He gives us faith and we believe in him. And Paul wants everybody to believe this. He wants everyone to have that faith. He says there's people who love God. At least they say they love God, but then they're trying to bribe God with their own good works. And God isn't pleased with that. That's the main gist of this. But there's a mystery between how things are grafted in and grafted out and who's true Israel. Will all of real Israel be saved? Is God going to come into the Middle East, into the Gaza Strip and do something in the future? It's things we don't know. I have opinions, but I can't ever be certain. But that's okay. You pause and you thank God, saying, thank you that you're far more complex. And the fact that you're complex and hard to understand is partly the proof I need to know that you're real, that I'm actually worshiping a real God. This isn't part of our reading, but this past week I was also studying Isaiah 6 when Isaiah was in the temple and God showed up. And Isaiah just was silent and he worshiped. If you don't have a God that you're silent and baffled and unraveled and just unable to express yourself in front of, that just undoes you, maybe you're not worshiping the God of the Bible. So take a step back. If these passages confuse you, thank God for that. If you need some resource aids, I'm happy to help. but also realize that the God we don't understand all the time perfectly is the true God. Seek as much as you can know about him. I'm not telling you to live in a sense of faithful denial and okay, faith means I never understand. No, try to understand what you can understand. But when things are hard, be thankful and know that God loves you. All right, that's all I got for this week. Feel free to post any questions. Talk to you soon.